longtime viewers of the channel will recognize this knife. This is one that I forged from a lawnmower blade, and I made a video of it a long time ago. It's a parang, and this particular one has been to jungle 3 different times for weeks at a time, and it is fantastic. But my next door neighbor just gave me a mulching blade. He runs a small engine shop, and had this old beat up blade. You know, it's kind of busted out towards the ends here, and I'm going to try to turn this into a useful chopper of sorts. The issue with it is, you know, it's sharpened here, so I'll have to take that down, and then these ends are pretty nasty, so I'm going to try and take those out, and we'll see what I can come up with. In terms of design, I want something that's, you know, more compact than this, that I can take fishing. Because when we do catfishing, we cut up sunfish, and I'd just like to be able to go whack like that and have my sunfish cut up. So this is my little forge, the Black Dragon. If enough people wanted to know how to make it, I'd show you, but at any rate, it's just powered by a little weed burner there that goes to a propane deal, and it does a pretty good job. You know, it shoots down in there. Does a pretty good job for all the forging projects I've done so far. Idea being now that I need to heat that up red hot and then hammer it nice and flat. What I've decided to do is after this point right here, everything thins out, and I don't want to deal with that in the handle, so I'm just going to cut it out right here. And then I've got my, you know, more or less typical handle shape that I like, and I like a little bit of a swell there. I like a swell on top and a swell on top there because it fits your hand a little bit better. I'm going to cut this, that's the cutting edge out, and little ramp back up to the top of the blade here. Now this is 2 inches of blade that I'm just going to leave flat so that I can choke up on it real well, and the cutting surface will be from here to there. Again, I'm cutting it off after this point because the metal thins out and I just don't want to deal with that. So I've got it roughly kind of shape. I'll do some refining after I get everything done. It's got a real good swing to it. It's maybe just a little bit front heavy right now, but I think once I get the handle and everything scaled and then thin out and sharpen and remove a little bit more metal from this area, I think we'll end up with a pretty good balance. Now the next step is to, where I've marked here, obviously that's not going to stay on through the forging process, but just to show you, from here all the way to there, I'm going to hammer and try to thin this out. I'll hammer both sides and try to thin it out to get most of the way there on the edge, just doing that. When you do that, when you hammer down here, what will happen is this will take on a natural curve. So the forging is all done. I have a rough shape of what I want. If you notice, look at that curve. That's natural. The edge I hammered out, but if you notice, it's not super thin, and you don't want to sharpen it before you harden it and quench it, because it's going to warp and have all sorts of other problems. And the other thing you want to do is be sure that you get holes drilled. Every basic procedure that you need done, get that done before you harden it, because it's real hard to drill through hardened steel. So now I'm going to heat it up to non-magnetic and then quench it in 140 degree peanut oil. So now I've got my handle kind of roughly shaped. I've got quite a bit of work left to do on it, but it's shaped enough and enough of this big bulk stuff is off of it that I can go ahead and glue it to the handle. Notice I countersunk some holes, and that's because when I get these in and get them trimmed off, I'll peen them flat to make a rivet so that it's held. The handle is held on by pins. The back pin is going to be a copper pipe so that I can put a little lanyard through there if I so desire. Anyway, the outside diameter of this is 1/4 inch, and the same with the pipes. It's by design. So I'm going to use some epoxy and epoxy the handle and these things and pin it all together, and hopefully clamp it in this vise here overnight, and then tomorrow I'll trim these off and peen them flat, and then finish the sanding of the handle and get it shaped exactly the way I want it. So as you can see, it's very rough. There's a lot of stuff for me to trim here and get back, and I've got to peen the rivets out, but we're making progress. Now I've got the rivets peened out and the handle kind of roughly to shape, and I'm going to sit with some sandpaper on the porch here for a bit. Here's the finished product, and here it is next to a real parang. This one my friend Ruben gave me, and he got it from Southeast Asia. It's a parang. I don't know what they forged it from. Some piece of steel that's similar thickness to mine. So some differences. The reason I started making these is this is a stick tang. This narrows down to almost nothing, and it's got a plastic handle, which, whatever, if it breaks you can just carve another one. But you'll always get some weakness here where the blade connects to the handle. Mine is full tang, as you can see, and I've got a handle that's a little bit better suited to my hand. Some of the design features of a parang, it's meant so that you can choke up and use it like this, or you can come all the way back here and swing for the fences. Really good utility knife. It's a little bit lighter than mine is. It's very well balanced. Mine's a little bit heavier. It's a little bit more front heavy than the parang from Southeast Asia, but I did incorporate so that you can choke up, and when you choke up, I made it so that the top of your hand is comfy too, and you can lock your pinky on the handle. So anyway, that's a parang. Look for that in some adventures coming up, and thanks for watching.